Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Lola.
Hi,
How are
babe.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
First of all, I feel like just a huge congratulations on this album. I don't know that I can say it better than Lynn, but what an incredible project. What an incredible record.
Thank you.
It's honest, it's fun, it's vulnerable. Like, I feel like it's such a journey. The first thing I want to ask you is what you did when the album came out. Like, what was that day like for you of knowing that this was about to be released into the world?
I'm trying to think. Okay. I'm trying to think where I was. I know I did a lot. I was at, I did like 3 things in the day. I woke up, brushed my, no, I'm joking, brushed my teeth, no, I'm joking. Anyway, so I started, I went to the YouTube, I had a YouTube event, I had an Aries launch. And then the moment it came out, I was like in bed with Eliana, my mate, just eating pizza. And it was Pizza Hut or Papa John's or something. And I was just like, you know what? This is the life, you know what I mean? And I was, she was like filming me and I was kind of like, oh, just don't play it yet. I need to eat my pizza. And it was a moment, but I'm very, very proud of this record. I feel super happy and thankful and honored to be here and just like in this room. And I'm really excited about it, this album.
How does it feel to have it out and have people be able to interact with it and kind of get to know these songs over the last week?
It's amazing. I would say there's a lot of feelings. There's a whirlwind of emotion surrounding it because it is such a personal album, and you know, there's an expectation that as an artist, I feel like you always long to meet. You know, when you feel the feelings so deeply, and you've gone through the journey of making the record, and you know, really experiencing it for what it is like for me. I really experienced every moment of it. Sometimes when it comes out, it can be like, it can feel like this big moment and it feels like there should be some pot of gold and there never is. But in another way, it's really beautiful to know that this is just the beginning, you know? It's always the beginning of a new moment in life, because every time I release an album, there's obviously, like I said, an expectation, but there's also just this really like a weight lifted off your shoulders of like, this is an experience I had, this is a point, and it's the symbolization. Albums are only symbolizations of a point in somebody's life, what they've experienced, what, you know, what music they've been listening to, what's going on in the world. And that's where I was at, and that's why I feel like, you know, I've really made an important album for me and my journey.
Let's talk a little bit about that, kind of where this album found you when you started. I think you started at the beginning, sort of this year. Some of the songs are a little older. Tell me kind of where you were in your life when you started putting it together and when it began to materialize.
Yeah, so I've been pretty open about this journey that I've been on, struggling with addiction, and I think, you know, it's not. I think in this day and age, I feel like since we're breaking down stigmas, and that's the kind of the growth journey that we're all on. Hopefully, maybe we're not, but that we're trying to be on. You know, I would say that I don't want to ever sugarcoat something important that I've gone through. I felt really weird and felt at times like it was going to be too open and too vulnerable to say I've gone through an addiction, you know, struggled with addiction. But one of my song lyrics says, I'm a dumb little addict, so I've been trying to quit the snowflake. So I was like, actually, if I say that, you know, it's fucking all there, innit? So no one's going to kind of go, oh, what does that mean? So anyway, I then decided to just be super honest. And I think the problem, anyway, so basically, to answer your actual question, I was struggling. I was really having a hard time. I wrote Can We Ignore It? And I wrote a song called Charlie, actually in the same time. And I was just like in and out of rehabs, to be very honest. And I was like, Messi was blowing up and this whole thing was happening outside that felt so external to me because I didn't feel super connected to it because I was fucking high all the time. And it was a painful that's why this album means so much. Obviously, I've kind of added some light and kind of moments of happiness throughout it, and some playful moments and some humor. But the crux of this album is about struggling, like, you know, and to be frank.
You've been writing songs since you were 11 years old, and they've always been a way for you to process things. Kind of, what was the feeling of when you're going through this chaotic time and putting these songs together, like that feeling of release and being able to put it into words in a way when you're going through this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was I feel like a lot of musicians and artists would say there's a cathartic experience, and it was, you know, it always is. Music is the place where I can feel like I'm healing, even if I'm not healing, and it was a way of me looking at something, putting something down, that's not tangible, but that I feel like I can look at and go, I've made a song, so it doesn't really matter if I'm mentally okay or not. I've created something, and that's enough for me to push me through to the next thing. And I felt proud of it, and I felt like it was something that I'd really come up with, and it felt like my own, and that was enough to kind of push me through. And I'm here, and I'm doing better, and I feel like it's just, that's what music is for a lot of people. It's a beautiful form of expression. So yeah.
Yeah, and this is a very beautiful one. One of the things that you just said that really strikes me about this album is that even though the undertone is a really heavy period, there's so much, it's a great pop album. And I think that there's sometimes this sort of expectation that because it's pop, it has to be frothy or light. And I feel like your songs, you have songs that are upbeat, you have songs that are really fun, and they also have a lot of depth at the same time.
Thank you. I would say I I don't try and do that necessarily, but I just write what comes and what feels most natural. But I feel that's also what people struggle to understand about me, maybe, occasionally, where it's like, oh, where do we place her? Because she's maybe making more conventional pop music to the ear, but it doesn't really like the lyrics or some of the melodies maybe don't conventionally fit in a normal pop song. But that's just always like the way I've written, and I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat something. I am just me, and I feel like that's just, there's power in being yourself in a world that continuously tells you not to be. So
I want to get at sort of the directness in the lyrics. One of my favorites is "Life Sucks Dick," where I heard that and I was like, it kind of does.
this is, by the way, this album is not for children, and it's also not for people who don't want to swear. I had one comment being like, "Oh, she's swearing," and I was like, "Yeah, what the fuck? What do you mean?" In fact, the album that I do after this probably won't be. I'm gonna try and hone it back because, you know, my potty mouth is right down the toilet at this point. But it's not an album for the weak. But yeah.
I was going to ask you about that, just kind of how cognizant you were when you were writing it about. I think sometimes people can, you know, especially if you're writing about an intense life experience, kind of want to dress it up, or, you know, there's such a directness in this album, and I'm curious how cognizant you were while writing it of just really just saying the thing.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it. I didn't want to like say. Sometimes I listen, I'm like, oh God, fuck, did I need to say that? But at the same time, I'm like, you know, I did, and I said what I said. But yeah, there's no sugarcoating. I just put it down, and it may be crude or it may be a bit, but that's what it is. All I can say is that it came from a raw place.
Sonically, again, like it kind of goes and has so many dimensions in it. I'm curious about the recording process. Once you've written the songs and you're in the studio, talk to me about the actual sonic textures taking place and the sounds coming together and kind of what you had in mind.
Yeah, so I made this album with Jared, who I love very dearly, with Connor and Will, who I've always worked with. And the process is very collaborative. We all get in the studio. Some of these songs are written in the room. Some of these songs were written prior, where I just written them on my guitar and I take them into the studio. But the production process is very collaborative, like I said, and it's just like fucking around. We play live. Everything is played live on this album, so nothing you hear is kind of, you know, like it's all programmed to a certain degree, but everything is completely live. So we record out all the instruments, and I guess what's amazing is Jared has, like, Solomon Phonic has these amazing kind of this way with making like the sound really full and texture, like, is texturous even a word? No, it's fucking not.
No, it is.
It's got a hell of a lot of texture. He's amazing at kind of ear candy and, like, you know, I don't know how a synth works yet, but he's really good at that. And yeah, it's just like it's just a whole, we're all in the studio, we're all putting our heads together and deciding what sounds the best, and sometimes we go, fuck it, that sounds awful, and then we start all over again.
And did part of it at Electric Lady here in New York. What was that kind of that's like one of my favorite studios in New York, and it's beautiful. Amazing, yeah. And tell me about the actual process there and how that kind of shaped.
Well, I think we Electric Lady has got so much history, and we wanted to make it there. I mean, it was fucking freezing in New York at the time. It was Baltic, and I remember seeing Jack Harlow actually, and he was like walking really slowly behind us because we were walking really slow, and he was like, "Yo," and I was like, I look far too ugly right now to be seeing Jack Harlow. That's all I can remember actually from the day. But anyway, basically, I went into the studio. What am I saying this is? Anyway, basically, it was freezing, but it was warm in the studio. And no, now I forgot the question. Basically, what I'm saying is that it was just a beautiful, amazing. We were in Studio B, I think, were we in, but it was if you guys have ever been there, but it was just gorgeous, and we had an amazing time. It was very like working the whole day and night, but and the album was made quite quick. It was obviously I only dropped. This wasn't meant for you anyway, like however long ago. So this was I felt like I needed to get it out.
Yeah. How did that the process of your last two albums, and then also obviously the breakthrough success of Messy, kind of shape this album, and what were the lessons that you learned from those that came into here?
I think I've really realized that sometimes with a sound that a sound that you're trying to create can never come. If you're forcing a sound or a vibe to come, like, I was the kind of like singer as a kid that wanted to do everything. I wanted to do like jazz music. I wanted to do neo soul. I wanted to do a bit of rock, and I wanted to try this. And they talk about, like, in labels, they talk about artist development. And my theory is that until the artist feels like they are in a place where they can trust themselves, trust their gut instinct, and know who they are a bit, it never really works trying to mold someone because they don't know it yet. So I think what I really learned from this process is that, again, reiterating what I said before, is that it felt right for this moment. This is my sound for now. And and from this wasn't meant for this wasn't meant for you anyway. It just kind of very slowly formed. It was organic, and I was like, this feels like me for right now. And then kind of I'm Only Fucking Myself is an extension of that. It just feels like a different kind of thing, but the sonic is similar, and yeah. So I don't know if that answered it very well, but yeah, you know.
Yeah, I'm curious if there is a particular song on here where when you talk about, like, you can't force it, just that turned out exactly the way that you heard it in your head, or one that when you hear it now, you're like, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I mean, who fucking cares? Because it was literally just a voice note. I know, that's what you laugh at that. Yeah, you're like, that's literally just what it was. Like, I couldn't, there's no drums, nothing else. And it was straight off my phone. But no, the one
that is a really beautiful moment
on the
album.
Yeah, that one I feel like is just a diary entry of someone actually said that, so I'm stealing that from a TikTok comment. But then Spiders was one that I found that really I freestyled a lot of that first kind of verse. It's not the vocal that's in there, and it just came, and it felt so natural and didn't feel forced, and I felt like I was just saying something that was you know, not too on the nose, but also quite metaphorical, and spoke to me. And so Spiders was the one that I still love, and I still kind of play and feel proud of.
Yeah, I think Spiders is one moment that really shows the power of your voice, and then on this album, you also have moments like Can We Ignore It, where it's like there's grit in your voice, and there's a lot of different avenues into your voice on here. I'm wondering how you kind of learned more about your vocals, or kind of what, how it stretched you in a different
just to be
way.
dead honest, I have a cyst, so I've just got a vocal cyst, and it just it gives me a lot of hard times with my voice. But I wanted to explore that kind of rocky, almost bringing back, like Fuck Everyone example brings back that kind of old school, like early 2000s kind of post, like pop punk kind of rock thing. And but vocally I just wanted to explore different ways of using my voice. But again, I didn't do it intentionally. It was just like whatever felt right for that particular song, I would treat it so. And I just like went with my instinct and felt it, and I feel like I sing emotionally, if I can say that. So I just used the instrument I have.
And this actually starts with a voice note that kind of kicks everything off. I'm curious kind of when in the process you decided to start with that, and how that came together.
So my friend Mandisa, they have been in my life for a very long time, and I remember the reason why I used that voice note in particular and used that person for that voice note is because I started in Croydon, South London, doing open mic nights in a place called Hoodoo's, where there was just weird men and weird women and weird people just coming together and singing weird songs about weird shit, and I was one of them. And so I remember meeting them there, and they basically, a while ago, they'd sent me this voice note. And the reason why I thought it was symbolic is because how long does it take to walk a mile? And I just thought there's something poetic about that. They say they're like grateful for cows, and there was just something so like eloquent but just like free and free spirited about that voice note. And then on top of that, how long does it take to walk a mile? It's like, how long does it actually take us to ever get there? Like, how long is it actually gonna take us to get for me, it was how long is it going to take me to get to a place where I feel completely content and happy? And that was what that question symbolized for me and portrayed. Like, when am I gonna actually feel happy and content? And so how long to take a walk a mile was kind of the question that opens the album.
And there's so many times, I mean, I think she even says in the voice note that it's like, she's like 45 minutes or something, and then the album is exactly like 46 minutes or so it's so perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
Were there other titles you were considering for the record and for the album?
I think, yes, there was one. And I think it was just something like with more swearing. And I thought, you know what? I'm not, because my label already hate me for that, and radio can't say it, and I'm not going to fuck myself even harder. I've already fucked myself pretty hard on this one. Pardon the pun!
Talk to me about the closer, too, because it also ends with a voice note as well. Just in terms of starting with that and then choosing that as the way to close everything off.
Yeah, the voice note at the end is literally very free. I just put my phone down and I said, record a poem to your one of my best mates who's a tattoo artist who did my ear tat. And basically I said, look, record a poem, I'll put it on the end of my album. That was it.
Had she written it before?
No, she freestyled that. And so I'm surrounded, but this is why you guys need to come to South London, because there's a range of poets and incredible people. But yeah, I'm just inspired by my friends. I'm inspired by their minds and the way that they think, and that was perfect for what it was. And it was it was encapsulating a moment in time.
What else were you inspired by when you were making this album? Like, what were you listening to, or what were you watching, or kind of absorbing?
So I'm just trying to. Anyway, I was trying to see if someone was over there. I'm thinking, who's on that side of the room? Anyway,
what are we looking for?
I don't really know, but I'm kind of doing that actually because I need a wee. But basically, I was trying to comment. So, no. I'm here with you guys. Trust me. It's just the bladder. Anyway, The last. What was the question?
What were you inspired by? I mean, I know your friends
Okay.
are a really big
Yeah,
influence on here, and
not
what
just
else
my
kind of were
friends.
you-
There was other things. I was listening to Pine Grove. I feel like they got cancelled at some point, but Pine Grove I was listening to. I was listening to Radiohead a lot, and there was other things. I just listened to a lot of trap music. So I was listening to a hell of a lot of trap music, which doesn't really. I was listening to Self Esteem quite a bit in terms of her lyricism, and then some other obscure shit I was listening to. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah.
Are you someone that you can listen to a lot of music while you're making something, or do you need to tune everything out to kind of focus on when you're in the process?
Yeah, so saying that actually now, I did say in a past interview that I don't listen to music while I'm making up. So anyone who don't quote me on what I'm saying ever. But yeah, sometimes I can. I was kind of picking off. I always listen to music. I'm always consuming music. I'm always, on my phone as well. So I'm always kind of got my headphones in when I'm traveling and stuff. So I'm always listening to music, but consciously going in with a reference, I don't do because that feels too like we're trying to copy something, and that just feels forced. But I love music, so it's always going to be a part of my life, and even in album mode.
And also, I feel like none of these songs sound like anybody else. Like they sound very specific.
Oh, thank you very much. I would hope so.
There, there's a tour coming, and people are gonna get to hear these songs live. Talk to me a little bit about what you're looking forward to and kind of how you're envisioning kind of recreating these songs on a stage, including here because you're gonna play a bunch of them.
So what you'll hear is kind of a taste of what's to come, but acoustic, and I guess we're getting more stage production. It's going to feel more. My band are very important to me, and I love live instrumentation. So that's always going to be an aspect of my show. But just bringing in a little bit of color, some mad lighting, and just I don't know. You have to see if you want to come, and maybe you can find out, motherfuckers.
Is there one song in particular that you really look forward to performing, or like a belting moment that you're excited about?
I love performing Spiders. I don't talk about it so much. Sad Sob Story is weirdly a really fun one to play, and I'm just excited to see how they're going to evolve and how when we continue to play these shows, how which ones end up surfacing and finding the light. I feel like they all will in a different way, of course, but which ones people start really loving, and that's how Messy came about because I toured with it and I pushed it in motherfucking people's faces so they could not listen to it, so yeah, I'm excited to see if there's another one, and if not, just what people seem to fall in love with, create memories with these songs.
Yeah, I am curious about Messy, and we should talk about this because it's been a huge moment in your career. Did you have a feeling about that song when you finished it, and just a sense of what it would become?
No way. I said if I knew that if I had a feeling, I'd have written more like it. But no, I didn't have a feeling. I wrote in my bedroom. I finished it, and we made it in the studio, and now it is what it is. And I'm very, very proud of that song. I feel like it's very fitting for what I am and what I'm about to. For that song to be the one to blow up. Yeah.
What was it like to kind of see the reaction that people have had to it and how much they've been able to connect with it? Because I think it says a lot about your artistry that this is, the kinds of songs that you make that people are really feel seen by.
It's beautiful. It's a very rare thing to experience when people come to you and say, this song has saved my life, this song has taken me through this moment, this song has gotten me through a breakup, this song has gotten me through fucking getting back with an ex, this song has, whatever it may be. And to be able to share an experience to be able to have an experience, and then what I always used to say about like anything, like any form of art, like a painting, is that someone can see it and see one thing, and someone else can see it and can see a completely different thing, and I'm happy that people have fallen in love with it in different ways. and yeah.
Are there songs that for you throughout your life, or kind of songs that you feel that way, that you still go back to, or that have made you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned in something the other day that A Case of You by Joni Mitchell was one of the best songs ever written, in my opinion. Any Prince song has got me. There's a song by Prince called Sometimes It Snows in April. That's a gorgeous song. A lot of Frank Ocean has gotten me through. A lot of a lot of Radiohead, a lot of the Radiohead albums have pushed me through. But songs in specific, just like, and occasionally, I'll put on a Katy Perry song. And goddamn, that shit fucking hits. Like, let me tell you, there's comparisons are easily done. If anyone knows that song, that's not how I sing, by the way, but if anyone knows that song, it's called Thinking or something. Anyway, it's an amazing song. The first, one of those boys by Katy Perry, banging album.
Do you remember where you were when you first? Because I've heard you talk about that Joni Mitchell album and the song. Where were you when you first heard that, and kind of what was the experience of hearing that for the first time?
Yeah, I remember hearing Blue, the album, and I just cried. I think I was like 13, and I just cried to A Case of You. And I remember going to school and being like, oh my God, this is the only song I ever want to listen to. If I can ever write a song that's fucking an inch as good as this, then I've done something. And that song is I don't know, it's something. If you can evoke anything in a 13-year-old teenager, you've done a pretty good job.
I want to hear what you're most proud of in this album. Again, it's such a beautiful piece of work. I feel like I've played it over and over and over. When you listen to it, what are the things that you're like, damn, like I did that?
I think it's hard to sometimes look at it from an objective point of view. I've lived through this album, I've sat with this album, I've been listening to it for a while now. So it's become ingrained in me, and it's become a part of me. I'm just proud that, and grateful and full of gratitude that I'm able to do what I do. There are obviously days where I feel really emotionally drained, but there are days where I feel completely just like in awe of the position I'm in, which sounds weird, but just full of gratitude. And I would just say that this album means a lot to me, and hopefully it can mean a lot more to a lot more people.
I think it does. I think it's going to mean so much to so many
Thank you.
people. I'm curious how kind of you see it in sort of the catalog that you've done, like where it fits into sort of like as you've evolved as an artist and sort of in the canon of your work so far.
You mean like how does it?
Yeah, like where do you see this one sort of in relation to? Do you see it as like the ultimate evolution of the others, or?
Yeah, I see it as like this is after this one. I mean, I don't know where I'll go or what I'll do, but this is a kind of. This is again how I view it as an extension of This Was Meant For You Anyway. It's me a little bit more fully formed, but the most amazing thing is that you're constantly evolving. There's never a perfect show. There's never a perfect album. It's all subjective, and it's that's what we strive for. My granddad actually said a really beautiful thing the other day. He was like, you said in the video, he was talking to me, he was like, you said in the video of Writing Messy, I just want this to be perfect. And then he said to me, it will never be perfect, but wanting it to be is enough. And I thought that was really amazing and eloquent, and just sums it up why we do this, why we continue to make music and art, because we want it to be so good, and we want it to, and so this is just a part in my evolution, and I'll continue to hopefully evolve.
This also kind of really evolved kind of the visual part of your journey. I feel like all the videos in this have been amazing and really kind of established a visual identity. How do you think of that part of your artistry and your career?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it became all a bit clearer when This Was Meant For You Anyway. I think it just became clear on how I wanted to dress, how I wanted to look, how the album artwork wanted to be. I think I had made more of I had a clearer vision for this one, which I think actually shows with the doll and with the kind of, it's like almost like a early, say that again, but early 2000s like photo shoot, weirdly. Big up Holly and Connor, who were incredible at bringing it to life. But I had the idea and I executed, and we all executed it amazingly, so yeah.
When did the idea come? Like, when did you kind of see that image? Because I feel like the album artwork itself is also so striking.
Yeah, I had a conversation with my manager and we sat down and I was like, I'm just like, don't know what, as you know, it definitely was me that suggested the sex doll. And yeah, it's my imagination, the way that the way I want to protect myself, the way I want to hurt myself, the way that we all feel like we can self-destruct and be horrible to ourselves. That's what the doll is, if that makes sense. It's like me, and in throughout the visualizers, it's like all of the different ways in which I'm trying to either hurt, protect, love, hate, fuck, whatever myself. Yeah.
I feel like it all fits so perfectly and comes together in such an incredible package. I think we are going to take about a 10-minute break. Everybody go get a drink, relax, and then when we come back, you're going to play a bunch of songs.
I'll play some songs.
I'm so excited.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.